Hello, welcome to Closing Chapters, Everyday Real Estate Tales. I'm your host, Brittany Fry. I'm a realtor, I'm a military wife, and I'm a mom. Join me and come transaction by transaction throughout my real estate career starting back in 2016 to hear about the highs, the lows, and the unexpected turns along the way through all of my customers. It's going to be a crazy ride, you guys. I am so excited to share the past, the current, and then what's coming in the future. Hang tight for the ride. Join me about being a realtor, a military spouse, and a mom. Can't wait to see you there. Welcome back, my friends. We are pushing it back and forward to 2017. We made it through my first year of real estate. Didn't have many transactions under my belt, but I got a lot of experience, a lot of community involvement, and a great foundation for my business. You want to know what happens next? It's pretty good, you guys. Are you ready for this? I went from doing 3 deals my first year to 29 sales my second year in real estate. That's right, you guys. 3 to 29. How fantastic is that? And I also had 3 outgoing referrals my second year, which means that I was able to help 3 people that were moving to a different area get connected with a fantastic agent in that area, and I got a referral fee from it. So, win-win, right? Let's talk about the breakdown, right? How many buyers, how many sellers? So for 2017, I had 11 buyers and 19 selling side. And a lot of that came from the fact that I started sitting in the model home for Great Southern Homes, like we talked about at the end of 2016. This was a fantastic way for me to get my footing and a really good door open to get some sales under my belt. I learned a lot about new construction. I loved learning about the different floor plans. I used to make little nicknames for them to help remember what they were. And I had a lot of fun with that. And also, I didn't get picked on, but everybody knew that I liked to make like little cutesy names for all the floor plans to remember them. So we had a lot of fun, teasing about that. So anyhow, my first deal in January, no waiting 4 or 5 months this time. We are off to the races, folks. It is time to hit the ground running and not look back. I couldn't have been happier. My first deal was really fun and positive and really sad and tragic all at the same time. So imagine you're a young 20-something-year-old lady in the Air Force, in a plumbing unit nonetheless. You're deployed. You happen to get married right before you deployed, and you decide you're going to buy a house so that you have a home to come home to when you get home from your deployment. Sounds fantastic. You deploy. Your new husband is staying back stateside, who is also military, and you find out he has been unfaithful, literally within a month of being married. How soul-crushing is that? You are in another country. There's nothing you can do, and you have to figure out how to pick up the pieces and how to move forward. Now, let me tell you a little bit of background here. In the meantime, I had a listing that I had co-listed with an agent in my office. It wasn't moving quickly. It was a very small house, and it was 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So it was going to take a particular seller or a particular buyer that wanted that type of property, which it ended up selling to a great first-time home buyer, and it was perfect. It was a single guy, and he just needed a space to call home. So it was a great starter home for him. But in the meantime, I had talked to my seller, and she had given me permission to rent the house out while it was on the market to the husband of this airman while we were looking for a house for them, because he didn't have anywhere to stay, and he was staying at a hotel called the Eagle Inn, which is not a good spot right outside of Shaw Air Force Base. And I said, we got to do better than that. So it was a win-win. I put some money in my seller's pocket while we were waiting for the empty house to sell, and my client had a roof over his head, and he was really easy to work with showings. But then all of this transpires. My buyer confides in me and lets me know what's going on. She had given a POA in order to let the husband help pick out a house for her. I had been working with him. How do you say awkward? How am I supposed to navigate this? How am I supposed to move forward with her and not him? He's in one of my client's properties. How's he going to be when I tell him he can't stay there anymore, or that I'm not going to work with him anymore? It was really interesting. Thankfully, that side of things worked out okay. He stayed until he could find a place to go to, and he was all right. And then on the flip side, we were able to flip it so that I kind of took control of the process of helping my client and getting her to the finish line. So it is time to find her a house, right? We have a house. We got it under contract. It was a fantastic house with a really nice big backyard on Watermark Drive. And this was the start of my enterprise on Watermark Drive. When you follow me throughout the deals, you'll see that I had quite a few properties on the same street over the next couple of years, which was pretty cool. It was like really special to me. I kind of felt like it was my street, right? It was just a very neat interaction. And so this house and the house to the right of them ended up being sold later on to people in the same shop. So they were neighbors, which was really fun. Shop as in like military, their workplace, they called them shops at Shaw Air Force Base. So they were in the water and fuel shop. So anyhow, we get her under contract, we get her to the closing table, have a couple more hiccups along the way going through financing. The backstory on that side is, once again, a beautiful thing that's kind of tragic, okay? She has a high school classmate that had a child very young, couldn't care for the child properly, so she adopted this little boy. Her mom has, all the parental rights to the boy, because obviously with her being military, being deployed, being single, even though she's newlywed at the time, she was still single when all that happened. Grandma basically has, the son. So on the tax side of things, when they're looking at all the tax records and matching everything up, there's no dependent on her taxes. It's under grandma. But she's paying for everything. She's paying for the child care. She's paying for all of his stuff. And that caused a red flag. They're saying, wait. Why are you consistently paying for child care, yet you have no dependent? So we had to go back and pause and explain that whole scenario and then get past that, which, is a blessing that she was willing and able to do that at such a young age. I mean, I can't imagine being in high school and saying, yeah, I'll take on your kid just because you can't. And I'm in high school and I'm the same age as you are too. So kudos to her. So we get past all of that, and then it's time to have keys. She's still overseas, going to be coming back soon. So her mom comes down from Ohio to meet her when she comes home from her deployment and get her settled into her house. This is my time to shine, you guys. I get so freaking excited about this. This was my first chance to go all in. So we knew this girl very personally. My husband worked in the same shop. So she was, part of our crew. So it made it a little bit easier to feel special about this and to really do a lot for her. So I was able to get our air mattresses set up in the house. I went to the store, made sure she had some pizzas, some cereal, some milk, some snacks, anything they needed just to get them in the house. Some toilet paper, paper towels, soap, all those type of things. And then mom was coming in the middle of the night. I was able to put the key out so that she could get into the property. She went and picked up my client the next day, and they got to come home together. So it was such a cool surprise to be able to set up the house and just know that the second she came home from a deployment, she could just go home just for the day. They don't get much time. Did you know when you get back home from a deployment, you get to come home that day after you kind of signed in and said, yes, I'm back, given back any government property that you have to, and then you go home for the day. Usually you have about 24 hours, and then the next day or two, you have to go right back in and end process to the base. There's no downtime, you guys. Sometimes after the end process, they get a little bit of downtime afterwards, depending on the unit, the pace, what's going on. In our case, there was usually about a 2-week layover from one deployment coming home to the other deployment coming out. It was about half of the shop each time that would go. So they really had no downtime. It was, very much so like, tag, you're it. Let's go. So anyhow, the fact that I could just have a place for her to call home when she got back on U.S. soil uh, really warms my heart. It's super special to me. And I am so proud of her for facing all the odds that she was going against and making a positive end to a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I can imagine being in her shoes and dealing with some of the things she had to deal with and navigating the waters afterwards, especially when she's overseas, by herself and doesn't really have much else that she can do, but focus on all the things going on around her. So I am always so proud of her, and also just found out that she just had her first baby with her now husband this weekend on Saturday. So it's super special. We love getting to follow all of our people and staying in touch with them and growing through life with all of our folks. So that was a really cool deal for me. I absolutely loved getting to start off the year that way, supporting somebody that was near and dear to our hearts, supporting somebody that was young and advantageous, and being able to purchase a house. Such a cool experience all the way around. And, of course, following my military niche, my heart, where I love to give back and feel like I can make a difference. So, 2017, let's do it. We were ready to rock and roll. We started out the gate, and it doesn't stop anytime soon. Hang tight for the next episode to see what's next.